You should be panicking right now. The Japanese yen is absolutely crashing. We invest hundreds of billions of dollars into it, which gets wiped out immediately. They're going to start selling our debt, which is going to make us broke as hell. Interest rates are going up. Diesel crack reached $100 a barrel for the first time, meaning everything that's shipped, fished, and farmed is going to be higher inflation. And we're no closer to buying a home. We are absolutely screwed in Donald Trump's America. Just a few days ago, this is the most blissfully unaware stock market in the mother effing stock market history. Watch the damn yen. Good night. And certainly they were onto something. Breaking news. $120 billion wiped from the Japanese stock market in less than 15 minutes. The U.S. Treasury and Federal Reserve are rushing to absorb Japanese bonds by injecting dollars, seeking to prevent Tokyo from selling $1.4 trillion in U.S. debt on the open market and the yen from collapsing. Well, what does this mean? It's almost like our country has a black credit card. You know, one of those credit cards you can't max out, but it's paid for by our dad. Our dad here is Japan. They buy our debt, which keeps us afloat. Well, now they're not doing well. The credit card only works when dad's doing well. When dad's lost his job, all of a sudden it's like, hey, Timmy, can you stop spending so much money? So when you look at all of this red, that's not a good thing. That is showing the entire market having a rough go of it. So we threw all of this money into the Japanese market just so immediately it would evaporate. It's like trying to put out a wildfire with a garden hose. After multiple failed U.S. Japan interventions to save the yen, the U.S. Treasury Secretary warned the Fed to expand the FEMA facility to Japan or watch the yen collapse and drag U.S. Treasuries down with it. Now, what does it matter if it drags the U.S. Treasuries down with it? Well, that's one of the key indicators on what interest rates would be for like home buying. You thought it was already expensive to buy a home, 7.5% interest rates. It's only going to skyrocket. To summarize, you should be panicking right now. You should be panicking right now.
America's so fucked right now. First, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. On to the like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. You should be panicking right now. And it has been the build-up for many years. That's when this collapse happens, it's going to hit so hard. It's going to be so devastating that people are not going to know how to react. And it's going to hit, pretty much it can hit it in one day. And reality changes drastically. The reality of it all is that America's financial system is toast. If they have to rely on Japan to keep this place afloat, and Trump is doing the things that he's doing, oh, might I add, the word was spread today. U.S. debt clock live. We finally hit $40 trillion in debt today. Well, yeah, today. Which is the 19th. So this place is fucked. All right, this place is totally fucked. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. It's over. All we waiting right now is let the domino effect take place. All right, let the domino effect take place, and ultimately it's going to be what? Ultimately it's going to be the RFID microchip. This is the only way to clean up this crazy debt that America find itself into, which was by design. So this whole entire system that was land backed by these devils, finances, political, and all that, they all been hijacked. They know this thing's ins and outs. They created a system that will have you in debt. Debt is finances. All right. when it takes the average person, the poorest person, and make that average person feel like they're somebody that they're not, just to keep them in debt. When the scripture speaks of the yokes of iron upon our neck, right now we don't have the physical yokes of iron, but we have the debt that is the debt that will get everybody. All right, and it's ruining everything for. I'm thinking about it. It's ruining for everybody. When this shit collapse, is gonna collapse in so many fronts at one time that it's gonna be hard to pinpoint anything, and it's over. It's really over. Relying on Japan means that anybody could pick it up, but nobody's gonna pick it up. And then here you are, you have trillionaires out there, all right, a particular family that can wipe out the debt real quick, but they won't because you're indebted to them. Real quick, Proverbs 22:7, I believe. It says, "The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender." And that's the system that is created and kept everybody under it. Everybody. You have children that's just born yesterday already indebted. That is utter madness. Matter of fact, I said it. Let's go into it real quick. Not this one, sorry. Let me go. That clock live. Yep, it was that clock live. This is the one, right? Maybe they changed the archives. Yep, this is the one. $40 trillion. Wow. Debt per citizen. How does the average person per citizen is over $116,000 in debt? Debt per taxpayer over 360,000. Now this is not even the worst of it all. Restitution, my ass. There's no restitution. Fraud clock. Oh, they changed it. It was another one. Oh, the last show I did. Damn. It was talking. The woman was talking about how the world is depopping, and the world that is depopping is because there's a lack of people, and she was concerned about social security and so forth. Ain't nobody gonna get no fucking retirement pension. None of that. God damn. The U.S. population 42,909 right here. That's how much private sector jobs. Yeah. Workforce. Official unemployment, which is actual unemployment. Damn, 14 million people. Full-time workers, which is bullshit. Part-time. I didn't know they had all this. Oh, I like this. Okay, let's go to the. Okay, this is Social Security. This should keep going up. But look at this. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Defense and war. Look how much money. Wow, that shit's going fast. That's going up. U.S. total interest paid. Shit. Looking at these numbers. Oh my God. The credit cards per per holder. U.S. total debt. God damn. Unrefundable debt interest is over. Damn. How many trillions of dollars it is that? And this is how they're going to get everybody. They already have everybody. You go to school, they got you. You're in the streets doing your thing, they got you. Everybody is cornered because the aim of the game is to get everybody indebted. And in debts, you have to pay it back. Well, you don't have to pay it back, but that's what they tell you. But they're gonna try to make you pay it back. And once you pay it back, you're nothing but a slave to them. That was the whole premise of the whole thing. All right, wrap people up into perpetual slavery. And this is what they have. This is the system that they created to ensure that. And this is a system, the same system they're going to collapse, so they can enter in the new system where they can have total autonomy over the people. This is the devil for you, man. Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. And they're drunken of what? What have they've been drunken of? The philosophies of America. And how much they have indebted, put everybody in debt. You know? And it's crazy if you really analyze it. A fair deal would have been one-on-one. But with these rats that wear the small hats who controls the whole goddamn system, with the central banks, they always have everything with usury, interest. So with the usury, the entrance that is granted, it's close to impossible for anybody to get out of it. But that was how they strengthened them themselves. All right, Babylon is suddenly falling, and you can see why it's going to be suddenly falling because of this debt. Japan is saying we can't do nothing, and where all of a sudden, how all of a sudden America has the money to go aid Japan, but they can't feed the average American. All of a sudden, you got the money for everything else except for the vested interest for America. It doesn't exist. So Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Like a how for her take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be ill. And what was one of the main things that Trump said when he got into office? He created a special unit with, at the time, a guy that was a billionaire, was supposed to be like a genius, called Deutsch, and their whole thing was to do what? Their whole thing was to turn around and cut expenses, to take the unnecessary expenses so they could end up paying back that debt. Well, that 39 trillion, what was that, 38 trillion? No, maybe it was 37 trillion when this guy came into office the second time. Sure, that $3 trillion sure went up. It surely went up. Because in reality, all of it was a trap. That's all this been. This is the only way they could give people in perpetual slavery, indebted slavery. This is why they needed democracy. They needed capitalism. They needed all these things to entrap masses of people. And every avenue where people try to maintain or try to get out of that debt, it leads you to more debt. So ultimately, the end game is the RFID microchip. And with the collapsing system, the obvious the collapsing system finances, especially you have BRIC nations that's cutting the dollar off, the war, the stupid war, that the quagmire that America finds itself into, all of that going on, every last one of it, there's no resolution to anything. It's all leading to the same end. For we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. And this is what everybody have to have the mindset, which eventually everybody is going to say that, because here it is. If you work on 9 to 5, you're not even seeing most of your money, regardless of who's in office or not. Then there's this thing called Social Security, which you'll never get to attend to keep or have. And no matter what they do, people cannot afford to live. There is no resolution to any of this. You can't play a certain role or a certain game where the rules keep changing. All right, the rules are the rules, and this is how it's supposed to get. There was never supposed to that 40 trillion. That was never supposed to exist. All right, they were supposed to be able to pay back everything, but they're not able to pay back, and everybody hates America right now. So our job is to forsake this place. And it says, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment have reached unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. And that judgment is what? The sins of America. So this is the ultimate payment. Zephaniah 1:9, it says, 10. It shall come to pass that in that day, saith the Lord, that there shall be noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. So if you live in a merchant city where everything comes from the sea, and the main source is um, fish, and you can't make it, then what? You're screwed. Matter of fact, I should go to my other one. Let me get this real quick. This place is so fucked. What was the other one? I hate when it does that. Let's see something. Slovakia. There it is. Isaiah 19. And 6. It says, and they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and the flags shall wither. So if you know, it's speaking of what? The reference was Egypt, was really talking about modern Egypt. But Egypt's main source of finances has always been the Nile River. So everything that was utilized in the Nile is utilized for the social norm. All right. And the things of the social norm now, what would happen if it would dry it up? What would it lead to? It says the paper reads by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks. And everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and no more. Oh, sorry, and be no more. And the paper reads is used damn near for everything. When you look it up, it was used for everything. Every little thing. All right. But the Lord's saying, look, he's gonna dry it up. When you go up, it talks about the cruel Lord and everything like that. And this is gonna cause the friction in Babylon. You know, the fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brooks shall lament, because nothing's coming. So said it, Zephaniah, the crashing of the gates, the fish gates, saying right here in Isaiah 19 chapter that they're gonna be mourned because they didn't have fish nets. I mean, not fish nets. A pole and a fishing rod. They had nets. The nets, which was made by, which could be made by rope or could be made by the paper reed. So you create a network. You throw it in a river, and instead of catching one at a time, it'll catch a whole bunch at a time. But when they throw it, because of the dryness of no fish coming, no nothing, they're gonna be mourning because they're gonna be getting up early to go fishing to make money, and they won't be able to make no money because nothing is coming in. You see, it says, "And they shall spread nets upon the waters shall languish. Moreover, they work in the fine flocks, and they that weave networks shall be confounded." So the networks is what? It's going into how the nets are created. So every aspect of how you get the fish, which was naturally, the natural way is fish will just come. But the Lord prevented that because he's drying up Babylon. He's drying this place up, which is going to cause a famine, which is going to cause a worker shortage, and all sorts of things. People are losing their jobs left and right. Job increases have dropped because of AI. So the normal, I'm watching an old movie, a Richard Pryor movie. I believe it's called Moving. I haven't seen it in a long time. But he lost a job and he was able to find a job, but he had to move to another state, right? So there was a time in America where when somebody lost a job, either they find something in that place or they had to go somewhere else. This is where the story of the Scott Barrow boys is all about. They had to use a train to go from state to state in order to find jobs. But now there ain't no fucking jobs, no matter what state you dwell in or you trying to plan to go to another state. Okay, everything is dying now. It says, and they shall be broke in the purpose thereof, and all that make sinzus in the ponds for fish. Surely the princes of Zoar are fools, and the counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh to become brutish. How how say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, son of the ancient kings? Because of what? Every work, which is going to get into, everything that they do is adverse to the benefit of this place. All right? Everything. Right now, what we witnessing, the greatest heist in human history. I didn't think about it till now. Spiritual. The greatest heist of human history is the rich getting richer and robbing the poor at every aspect. And then simultaneously helping collapsing the very same system when they got rich at. So it's showing you that it doesn't matter how hard you work and what you do, they always going to rob you. All right, it keep you in this debt and then demand you to pay back that debt. That's the other aspect. You know, we keep saying debt, but they're gonna demand that you pay it back. And it says, "Where are they? Where are the wise men?" So you have the Fed. What's it? I don't know who runs the Fed anymore. I believe it's a Jewish woman, but got the Feds that um they gotta keep pushing up the interest rate because if they lower the interest rate, it's gonna be bad and all this other crap. Then you got everybody's in the White House. They don't want to talk about the unemployment. They don't want to talk about jobs. They don't want to talk about nothing. Nothing's going back into the system. They taking from the futures to pay for now, which means when you get down to the futures, this is why Social Security comes along. If they taking money from Social Security, there's no future for anybody to retire. So the Lord's like, where's these wise individuals that you claim to have? All right. Why is Japan? Why would they make a financial move? Sorry, a foolish move in the Middle East, which cause a domino effect because of a country that has nothing to do with this place. So they willing to jeopardize everything because of that wretched place. Nah, that was all part of their plan to collapse the system. And all you poor Edomites, you so-called white people, your leaders have completely fucked you. Has completely fucked your future. And it says, and let them tell thee now, and let them know what the Lord of the hosts have purpose upon Egypt. So the Lord's purpose is upon this place. All right, and his purpose is not good. And the princes of Zor are become fools, and the princes of Nophi are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt. What? Oh, we're gonna. America's so rich that you don't have to work. America is so rich that we don't even have a debt. We'll see about that real quick. All right, we'll see about that real quick. So they seduced this place. It made it seem like there was a hope, but there was never hope. Even they that are the state of the tribes thereof, the Lord have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof. So the perverse spirit and has caused every move that they have made to come back and bite them. That's why the apostles, the elders, always bring up bridges and bridges and roads, and how the structural system was built for like 50 years or something like that. It wasn't built long term, and instead of building it to last, they keep cutting corners. Even the housing, they keep cutting corners. They keep ensuring that is nothing's going well. Why? Because of the error. Everything that they do is faulty. So you have the higher ups, the elites, that saying, um, get rid of this place, and you got the lower elites that's trying to create the biggest heist in American history, in the world history, and everybody else is under that is for a victim to the oppressive state. It says, as a drunken man saggeth in his vomit, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do, from the executive position to the lower, to the common worker, the blue collar jobs to the white collar jobs. There's not going to be a single job. Why? Because you have data synthesis, which does not employ many people. You have Elon Musk telling the world what you shall. People is gonna have to find another purpose because there's gonna be no jobs, and they're telling you straight up. So this all accordingly, all coming to the final stretch of it all. All right, the stock market will crash. There's gonna be no more insider trading. There's gonna be none of that. The dollar is dead. All right, the actual dollar is dead. Back in Zephaniah 1:11, how inhabitants of Maktesh, which is what the merchant city, where they trade, right? For all the merchant people are cut down. All they that all they that bear silver are cut off. So even those that are part of the stock market, this is why they had Robin Hood so available for people, the average person. This shit was plotted. This heist thing was plotted out long ago. Now, what is I seen? Was it a post that people are no longer investing into the market? They invested in sports gambling. This place is so fucked. It is so fucked, man. You know, This place is so fucked. But as according to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and it's right on time. So that being said, shalom to the elect of the nation. Shalom.